Hello, hello, peace and blessings, family. Welcome back to the Rose Garden. We are here for yet another vibe session, and we have a pretty interesting topic. It's something that it's serious, but it's kind of light, but nonetheless, it is something good to talk about. So, how many times have we heard the saying, "There is nothing new under the sun"? Plenty of times, right? I know I have, so I'm sure somebody else has. But here's the question: have we ever sat back and thought about what that saying is really trying to tell us? Is it telling us to be mindful? Is it telling us that there's no true authenticity? Is it telling us to really not be surprised when things happen? What is it trying to tell us? So I had heard an interesting perspective a couple of while back that was saying that they don't really like to use that saying because they feel that it's telling us that there's no room to evolve. It's pretty much a hopeless type of saying. So I wanted to pose the question to you guys: what does "there's nothing new under the sun" truly mean to you? Have you even thought about it? No? Maybe, maybe not. So, here is my POV on what "there's nothing new under the sun" means. So, how many times have we heard our parents say, "I don't know where they got that from"? Oh, I don't know who she or he got that from. They surely didn't get it from me, so I don't know who they got it from. Well, for me, that pretty much is one of the ways to really shed the light on "there's nothing new under the sun," because we pass down everything to our children, whether it's through DNA, meaning that through DNA we can pass down our traumatic experiences as far as how we respond to things, how we feel about things. And we can also verbally, when we are rearing our children, we can pass things down to them because children mimic what we do. They mimic everything. That is majority of the way of how children learn, is by watching their peers and most importantly their parents. So when we're saying, "I don't know where or who he or she got that from," that's pretty much a calling to say there's nothing new under the sun, and we need to reevaluate what we are doing around our kids, or we need to go within to fix some things that we haven't dealt with before our children get of age and they start doing a lot of the things that we did when we were children. Because it is very true, we can pass on curses and things like that to our children if we don't rear them and talk to them in the proper way. And when they get older, they will be a huge representation of "there is nothing new under the sun," because they will be getting it from us. Also, cycles and karma. That is another big way to think about the phrase "there is nothing new under the sun." Karma, for one, going back to us as parents and raising our children, we can pass on karmic debt to other generations. How? Why? Because oftentimes we may not see karma right away, because karma isn't something as in, oh, what goes around comes around, like that exact same thing is going to happen. But there will be some similarities in what happens, and if it doesn't deal with us while we are here in this life, then when we transcend, it will be passed down to our children. And they may not even know it, but our karma can pass on to our children. That is what it means about passing on curses. It's passing on our karmic debt to our children, especially if we haven't dealt with things. So in a sense, that is another way of looking at there is nothing new under the sun, by basically saying that there aren't any surprises and there aren't any coincidences within this lifetime, this realm that we are in. Also, another thing to think about is cycles. There is a cycle and there is a season for everything. Just like fashion trends recycle, a lot of things recycle, especially with our life lessons. If we haven't learned something, like learned our lesson or just been completely aware of what we are doing, we will literally find ourselves in the same exact cycle over and over again. Now, that isn't to say that we will run into the same people or we will stay literally in the exact same place physically, but spiritual wise and as far as goals and just passions that we have, if we haven't learned our lesson, we will always find ourselves dealing with the same type of people. Not to say the same exact person, but we will run into people that have the same characteristics, the same mind frame, the same personality, the same type of issues, especially if we are in a low vibrational or negative state of being, period. We will attract the same people. And then we will find ourselves saying, well, I don't like this person because they do da da da, or they really irritate me because they're doing this or saying that, or they just can't get it together. Well, when we run into those same people or same issues, it's definitely a message and a sign to take a step back and say, what am I dealing with? What am I projecting that's making me attract these same people? Or it's clear as day, because sometimes we can be around the people that are literally in the same predicament as us and we feel drained. There's nothing new under the sun. It's no coincidence that you are with this person or around these people if we are in the same place, because it's definitely true. Misery likes company. Like attracts like. We attract where we are physically, mentally, and or spiritually. And that's not a coincidence. That's either a wake-up call or it can be us taking it as, oh, it's meant to be. But oftentimes, more than others, it is the Most High or the universe trying to get your attention. So you will keep running into these same people and same issues and stay feeling stuck until you wake up and pull yourself from out of that rut. Life happens in cycles, and that is what there is nothing is new under the sun is basically saying. Everything has a cycle. There is a time to go within. There is a time to fully bloom. There is a time to harvest. There is a time to prep. And it happens over and over again. We can definitely learn from nature and the physical seasons, because we have those seasons within us too. And that's what There Is Nothing New Under the Sun is all about, being aware and paying attention to these seasons, because there is a timing for everything, there's a lesson within everything, and there is a reason. Reasons, lessons, and timing. That is all that it is about. And those things are key for breaking these cycles and breaking these loops, because oftentimes, this, saying of there's nothing new under the sun sounds so damning and maybe negative, and just like, oh, well, I guess I can't be authentic, or or I guess there's nothing special about me. No, that's not true at all, because once we become aware of these cycles and of these loops, then we can pretty much learn the blueprint and the strategicness within everything to work within these loops and work with these seasons and timings. Because once we are aware and once we pay attention and learn how to work within this divine timing, then things will work out in our favor and we can begin to tap into what is so special about us, our talents, our gifts, our passions, our desires, our true authenticity. That's when things will start to shift in our favor and you can break these cycles. Also, with, family curses and karmic debt. Once we pay attention to what really happened and learn how to take the good and overstand the bad, that's when we can shift things and learn where we went wrong, learn where our ancestors went wrong, learn where our parents went wrong, and know how to fix it. And that's when everything will make a total 360. But it's up to us to be willing enough to be aware and to pay attention and to also be willing to turn things around and do the work and, own up to our messes and be strong enough to say, well, hey, everything wasn't perfect with my family, but I'm willing to be that exception. That is how we can shift the paradigm of there's nothing new under the sun. But we have to first realize that there aren't any coincidences and that everything happens for a reason and there's a lesson and a blessing within every single thing. But if we just stick with the woe is me and, the whole lacking mindset, then no, there won't be anything new under the sun because we're just flowing with the current of everybody else. But sometimes we have to catch or create our own wave. And that's what it's all about. So there you have it. There's nothing new under the sun. I hope this helped you in some way, shape, or form. I hope it makes sense. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever the case may be, definitely reach out to me. But in the meantime, between time, definitely log on to www.layconcreterose.com and www.rgvyoga.com. I have an amazing book out called Past the Vibes. I'm also offering life coaching sessions and private yoga sessions. So if that's something that you are interested in, definitely look me up.